This episode is brought to you by World of Warplanes. To try World of Warplanes absolutely free, all you have to do is head on over to offergb.com/warplanes. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. Do it. I'm waiting for you to do it.
Game Breaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO for January 10th, 2014. It's episode 174. You're watching Game Breaker. I'm Gary again, and coming up on today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about something that may be going on this weekend. You may or may not know about Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just making stuff up. Also, we're going to talk a little about Landmark Alpha. I'll probably blab at the mouth about DayZ. And, yeah. I don't know. That's what I do. What's up, Mr. Byrne? How are you?
Oh, fantastic, sir. It's so good to be back.
I know.
It's been like, what, a month?
It has been about a month. Yes.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
And I've bought DayZ, but I have not played with you yet. So we've got to make that happen.
Happy Polar Vortex to you, sir.
Yes, and to you and yours.
Jason Winter.
Yeah, I really don't like this new. How cold did it get here? I was like, God, it got down to at least the 30s. I mean, it was terrible down here.
But that is pretty cold.
Son of a bitch.
For Dallas, yeah. Actually, it was like 17 one night, so that's as terrible as it got. Just want to say though, I mean, this new delay we're talking about on Twitch is terrible because if you see, it said that this is on January 2013. This is like a whole year delay for this show.
Oh,
that's how bad it is.
It does. Look at that. 2013. I mean, nice. Yeah,
Twitch, get off your asses and fix
Damn, this new Twitch delay, just so bad. Should be 2014, obviously. What a derp. Derp. Derp, the first show in the year.
I did it on my first check of the year, so yeah.
Did you guys have a good New Year? Did you guys have a good New Year? Did you guys have a good Christmas? Yeah.
Christmas was good. And New Year's itself was good, but the last few days have been a bit rough. So.
Yeah, you've been up to like your armpits and like crap cleaning out from the polar vortex.
Yeah, there was some pipes and drainage and issues for about 72 hours. Luckily,
I don't want to hear about your bowels, Mike.
Was it poop? Were you cleaning up poop?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, it was just the drainage stack for the whole place was it was bad.
Did you barf?
But we're back to normal now. No.
Would you have like a long rubber gloves on up to like your fishing
waders
and stuff?
I had waders and elbow gloves, big rubber gloves and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Not fun.
I don't assume in my basement. What I do, it's in human feces.
Yeah.
I had a
now it's just the fight with the insurance company, which is so much fun, right?
That's gonna be great. Yeah, good luck with that.
I know,
I had an interesting Christmas, or Christmas Eve, I should say.
Really?
Yeah.
Go on.
So we went over, had friends, had some friends of ours, had a bunch of friends over for dinner, like Christmas Eve kind of tradition thing we do, and they have a dog, and we have the little Chihuahua. I think most of everybody on the show has seen that we bring. So we brought her over, and they play, and they go crazy, and they have a really good time, and everybody's eating dinner, being merry, drinking, blah, blah, playing games. And then later on in the night, they're done, they're tired, and she's pooped. She comes and jumps on top of my lap, and she's like, "I'm sleeping." She's tired. I mean, she just goes to sleep. She falls asleep. She got a little Santa costume on. Yeah, we do that shit to our dogs. Sorry, but we do. And she seemed really tired. We take her home. We get in bed. We're like, all right, go to sleep, and take her out of her crate, and she's kind of acting a little weird, and she's like twitching a little bit, and her head's acting kind of weird, and I'm like, man, something doesn't seem right. She seems a little weird. I don't know what's going on. Maybe she's just tired. We put her in bed. She kind of just curls up and goes to sleep. So we're sitting there hanging out, and then I was like, let me just wake her up, because you can wake this dog up at any hour of the night, and she goes crazy. She's just got like so much energy. So I go to wake her up, and she like stands up in the bed, and she just like falls over. And I was like, no, dog's having like a seizure or something. So scoop the dog up in a blanket, book down to the it's Christmas Eve, book down to the 24-hour like vet, all night vet place, and give them the dog, and we're like freaking out. We're like, I don't know if she's having a seizure. I don't know what's happening. Her head's kind of shaking. She couldn't really stand up. It's like really crazy. And like, all right, they take her in the back, and we're waiting. They come over. They're like, Mr. Gannon, come over here. And they're just like, Mr. Gannon, please don't be offended when I ask you this question. I was like, oh, okay. They're like, were you at a party this evening? And I was just like, yes, it's Christmas Eve. Who's not at a party? Yeah, I was at a party. They're like, was there marijuana at this party? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't partake. I was like, but they're like, we think your dog may ingested or somehow has marijuana. And I'm like, wait on a second. I grab my phone and I call my buddy and I'm like, dude. He's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm at the vet with my dog. My dog's freaking out. I don't know if she's having a seizure. Were there people like smoking pot or anything at your party? And he's like, I think there was some people in the backyard who had pot brownies. And I'm like, oh my God.
No.
My dog is just super high. So
this
my
is the pot or the chocolate, because chocolate's no good for dogs.
It wasn't the chocolate. They knew in a second. What was wrong with her. Just like we don't think the chocolate's a big deal. They're like, so my Chihuahua had a psychedelic Christmas.
So, only the vets in California would recognize the high dog right off.
She knew in minutes. She knew in minutes. It was amazing.
They get that every other day, I'm sure.
Right? They brought it in and they knew because the dog asked for Cheetos and Funyuns.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Gannon, come here.
She's like, I had a bag of Doritos I was munching on. They were gone. When I turned around, they were just gone. So then we had to leave her in there all night. She stayed there overnight with IV, getting charcoal pills.
Was it like detox?
Detox. My dog went to rehab. My Chihuahua's an addict.
Totally Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Had to trick her into the Betty Ford Center.
My Chihuahua in detox. So then our entire our Christmas Day plans got canceled pretty much because we couldn't go to another friend's house for that party because we stayed home waiting for her to be ready to pick up, and then we picked her up and brought her home.
Stoned.
She's too stoned, man. She likes that herb, man. She likes to get high.
That is perhaps the best Christmas story in a long time.
I mean, she's like 5 pounds, man. Like, who knows what she ate? If she ate like a tiny little piece of this thing, she was high as a kite, man. She was just well, it was amazing how fast they knew. They just knew in 2 seconds. They were just like, yeah, it kind of happens more than you think. It just like happens all the time. People have it like in their purse, or their pocket. Their dog sniffs it out and goes and eats it, and then they're in here freaking out about it. So, like, not a really.
You gotta
big
be
deal.
careful. Your dog starts hitting that pot a little bit. Next thing is gonna move on to kibbles. It's gonna be trouble.
Yeah.
Forget it. You start
Gateway, baby.
You start finding the hidden catnip underneath the cover, like sticking it in between the cushions.
In the doghouse, all of a sudden there's lights and watering and irrigation and stuff. They got their own little growing. You got to be careful, Gary. Be careful.
She's an entrepreneur. She is. She might All right, let's talk about some MMOs. Things have been a bit quiet, except for today and this weekend. But there's a bunch of stuff going on. Elder Scrolls Online. It's no secret that there's a beta going on. They're even tweeting about it. They're tweeting about it. There's do not know who is in it. Do not know what a beta is. I have no clue. But
can I ask something though? We're all very familiar with NDAs. Like the three of us and a lot of the people watching this type of show, you're very familiar with an NDA. Doesn't this seem like the most lax NDA in the universe? Like even their own Facebook page and their own Twitter is them talking back and forth with people that are talking about things they've experienced in the game.
It is pretty
loose. Odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people talk, like, even outside of that, I've seen people talk about it on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, and yeah, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Well, here's something I want to talk about in this show as well. We brought this up on Game Breaker last night, which all you can watch. We have a new show called Game Breaker, the show. Game Breaker. Episode 2 is up on Game Breaker, so go watch it. It's a fun show. But
Colt couldn't make it, so somebody less important showed up.
That would be me. But we talked about this a little bit last night. I wanted to get Jason's opinion as well because you were on the show with us last night, Mike. But Forbes had an article saying that they're predicting that Elder Scrolls Online is going to be the biggest disaster of 2014. And I don't know. We kind of all had it out, and I don't necessarily know if the article shakes out to be a fair take on the whole situation. What do you think? I mean, it definitely is we all agreed that it was the easiest one to put a target on. That if you're going to make some sort of blanket statement, that would be the one to kind of pick up and aim for, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does have the potential to just collapse based on, again, what we saw in that article, or the tweet that was supposedly put out that got deleted right away about it costing $200 million. I think I think it's going to follow the same trajectory as Star Wars: Old Republic, but a little slower because I think people are more cautious and more aware of it. Even Bethesda or ZeniMax to some extent.
Well, let's be fair for a second. Why are we all comparing it to Star Wars, right? Why? Like,
because
why,
it did have it. It's got that same kind of. We know that it's going to be great. It's going to be that's their opinion. There's going to be the sub fee. It's cost maybe a couple $100 million. I think that's the comparison. Is it's being touted, at least by them, more so than the community is incredibly skeptical about it. More so than I think they were about, say, Guild Wars 2, or as much as they are about EverQuest Next. Those two games both have that same kind of, oh my god, this could flop completely kind of.
But you could say that about anything. You could say
I think
you could pick every game and go, oh my god, this could flop completely.
I think it's just more widespread, and I think it's also the whole trying to convert the single player game to the MMO experience, and maybe losing something in the translation. That's something that a lot of other games don't have, and that's based on that love people have for the single player game. And you just don't know if they're going to be able to capture that same kind of magic or the same kind of audience or whatever as you do for the MMO.
I think the comparisons to Star Wars go a little into the whole background situation too. I mean, Jason, you already alluded to the 200 million big budget type thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have a big company with a big track record of success after success, and we can argue all we want about what BioWare is now, but prior to the launch of Star Wars: The Old Republic, BioWare had a nice string of really big successes. But both companies, ZeniMax and BioWare, had never done MMOs at the time they started developing these types of games. Mm-hmm. Then you look at the types of games that they did, and they were huge mega IP. Yes, Elder Scrolls is nowhere near the size of Star Wars, but it's one of the biggest gaming IPs out there. So there's a lot of similarities along the entire development path. It's real easy to compare the two. I don't disagree with the Forbes headline. I think it quite possibly could be the biggest gaming disaster of the year. I disagree with how they got there, the logic that they used, because predominantly, Gary, we talked about it yesterday, the sub fee was the big thing that they just kept harping on, and I don't necessarily agree that that's going to kill the game.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, we've talked a lot. We've seen the free-to-play thing blow up, and then we've seen, subs kind of come back into play. And I mean, do you really think that is sort of a defining factor for gamers? And the other thing I question about where all the opinions are coming from, and this is just something my feeling is that most of the opinions are circling in the MMO community, but not even in the single-player community, which I think are very separate. And I think the MMO community is going to be a little bit more apprehensive about it regardless, just because, well, it's a little bit different than maybe what we're used to. And we always say we want innovation as MMO gamers, and then all of a sudden somebody does something innovative and we don't want it.
But I think the single player community has a lot to do with that. Mentioning that, of course, when they're used to getting Skyrim or Oblivion or whatever, they pay their box price and there's no subscription. And that's something else people especially mention on consoles. You're not used to paying that $15 a month to access your game. And reading the Reddit post was one really good link on there. A lot of people commenting on this seem to be more single-player fans. Just saying, I love Elder Scrolls. I've played it for 10 years or whatever, and this doesn't interest me in the slightest. Or the one guy who said, everyone has been asking for co-op Elder Scrolls games forever, so they made an MMO. I don't think they understand that an MMO and co-op are different. And that I think is a really good statement. That kind of fits with what I want, I think, and with what I think we've kind of tended to voice here, where Skyrim, or any other Elder Scrolls game is a single-player experience, and we would have liked to have a few more people in there, but maybe not like 100 or 1,000. That seems to be more in line with the kind of worlds they've created, that they aren't really made for 100 people running around, or 100 Dragonborns, or 100 Chosen Ones, whatever you're called in Elder Scrolls Online. It just doesn't seem to work that way.
Trying to find these tweets, Byrne, about you referencing that they're talking a lot to players about the beta. Can you point me in the right direction?
Yeah, I'll grab you something. I've seen more on their Facebook than on tweets. Yeah.
Can you pass me that hip chat, because I kind of want to see like what's going on here and what they're really kind of chatting about. I don't know. I think gamers will be okay with the sub fee if it's justified. I think it really comes down to the gameplay and what it actually delivers. Man, I'm waiting for these Facebook posts because
But that's the thing, is we hardly know about what it delivers. I know something else you're going to talk about a little later on, but yeah, that's the thing, is we're so skeptical, in part because we've been given so little information. What is that $15 a month going to buy us that makes it worth that much as compared to all the games we get for free or nearly free now? Especially stuff like Skyrim.
Are we sure they're being pretty relaxed with the NDA here to some extent?
Yeah, you're not going to see, like, here's some stuff on there when they're talking about actual beta invites going out this previous weekend a few days ago. Their posts themselves aren't obviously tipping anything, but there's a lot of commenting back and forth if you dig through these 354 top comments on some of these things, where people are referencing things in-game or from previous betas, and they're actually being replied to, but not in a way that says, shut up. You can't talk about that here. It's actual conversation and dialogue back and forth. None of it's getting crazy out-of-hand game details, but for a beta that you're not even supposed to tell people that you're in, it just seems weird to be on their Facebook page that back and forth. Although they're not doing any other advertising.
Would it be NDA breaking if I gave a one-sentence snapshot of my feelings?
Well, are your feelings based on experience, or just your general feelings?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm breaking the NDA by telling that. That's what I'm wondering.
Then just give me your general feelings about the whole thing, Gary. How are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling like I may have one of the best experiences I've had in an MMO in a long time. I may have a feeling.
It'd certainly be fun, wouldn't it?
I have this like feeling that I may have. Maybe it was a dream, but I have this. I had a dream. That
it was all a dream.
It was a couple weeks ago. I don't know, a few months ago now. I can't really remember. It's been a while since a dream, but I remember like sitting down on a Friday and pretty much not getting up until Sunday night. And like I just saying. That hasn't really happened to me in a long time. I don't really pass out. I don't really have like these like, blackout moments of don't not know what happened. Maybe it was aliens. I could have been abducted. I know there was loss of time. All I know, there was loss of time. And it was a really good time. I felt really good afterwards. I'm not real, but again, I could have been anal probed. I don't know.
Here's what I will say.
Yes, chat, we know they're banning streamers. I mean, but that's obviously taking things to the extreme. I'm not talking about NDA violations nearly to that type of an extent.
When I had my play session at QuakeCon back in August, which, I talked about and wrote about, I was fully allowed to do so. When I played it then, I felt like it was enjoyable, and it felt like a single-player game that happened to have other people around. And I might have felt the same way had I gotten to play more of it, if I had. And that wasn't bad. It was fine for what it was, but I didn't feel like necessarily it was an MMO, except for the obvious fact that there were people running around. And, it's like I didn't feel like it was necessary to interact with them.
So Twitch chat is like going wonky right now, and it's
it's
duplicating everything. Yeah. So it's been awesome to watch the last 30 things post up their duplicate comments about Gary being anally probed. Anal probed, always a good time. Anal probed, always a good time.
I don't know. When you lose track of time and space, you never know what happens.
Well, someone had a good answer that you got into the brownies too.
I don't know. I don't partake. That I do not do. I don't partake.
Take you to the vet, Gary.
I think why the other thing is why they have the crosshairs on them is the price tag, and let's be honest, the internet loves to hate. The internet loves to hate. The internet loves to see things fail. The internet just wants to see some doom and gloom. There is that portion of the community out there that just like no matter what they're gonna hate. And when it's got like this $200 million price tag, which again we don't know if that's official. Someone had tweeted that it was really moved. Really, I could easily see this costing that much money. That doesn't even sound that incredible to me anymore when it comes to something as big as like an Elder Scrolls MMO. I'd be surprised if they were they're not spending $50 grand on this thing. So I would imagine that they're going to spend $200 million on a game like this. I don't know. It's a completely believable number.
Do you think they've kind of done this to themselves though? I mean, we're less than 4 months away from official launch, and we've still seen very little of this game unless you have been lucky enough to play in the beta. I mean, it's official streaming, dungeons, PvP. I mean, usually we're we're talking about other games where we're inundated with stuff years ahead of time, and maybe they started their marketing a little too early, and now we're turning around looking at Elder Scrolls, and there's a lot of naysayers out there, and maybe it has a little bit to do with the fact that there's nothing contradicting it right now.
Okay, but again, and to be fair, yes, there is still a lot of the game that is not, no one has seen. Even beta testers have not been able to see, right? So there's a lot of unknown. But to completely cast judgment on unknown is ridiculous. Just be like, oh, I haven't seen it, so it must not be good. Like, that is completely ridiculous. So just because they haven't unveiled that stuff.
Keep in mind, though, these opinions aren't being based on, and I hope the game's good. You know, Gary, more than anybody on that's watching
you're like
this,
the most
I'm an
optimistic
Elder
gamer
Scrolls
I
guy.
know. Yeah, and you love it. Yeah,
and I generally am like, it's a video game. Even if it's bad, it's still a freaking video game. It's not a root canal. Enjoy what you can out of the damn thing. So I'm pretty optimistic, but everything we have seen, there have been some bad slip-ups. You know, even live streams they've had in the past where everybody walked away going, wow, the bow and arrow combat was pretty bad. It looked pretty bad, you know, and we haven't seen anything else saying it's getting better, it's moving along, production's... I don't know. To a certain extent, I think they've done this to themselves. But the internet likes to be negative too, sure.
So what do you think we're going to see now? So we're about 4 months away. I mean, I guess what's going to be interesting to see what kind of marketing push they do for the PC launch, how big that is, or are they going to hold back a little bit and save for the console launch, or how's this going to work? I mean, it's kind of an somewhat of an odd scenario. I guess you got to push everything out, because I feel like you do a huge push on the PC and Mac market. Maybe you're missing a lot of that messaging to the console gamer. Right? They're not paying attention to those sites and that type of content. I don't know. What do you guys expect? I mean, do you expect to start seeing like more class videos and information, dungeons, PvP, crafting, all that stuff? I mean, those are sort of the normal things we start seeing MMO companies ramp up with as they're getting closer. And 4 months is pretty close.
Yeah, and I hope we do see more. I thought we were going to when we started seeing things like, okay, let's throw up the character creator, which they did a video on that. They had done 2 or 3 videos interspersed with those Ask Me Anythings, and you and I talked about it offline. We said, okay, now here we go. Here comes the hype train. We're going to start seeing more. And then it just stopped. There was nothing besides a few more AMAs that they still got better. All 3 of us agreed on previous TWIMMOs that they were getting better and more informative. But they stopped, and we have to see it soon, I would imagine. You've got to sell the box price first. Worry about the... Yes, the subscription may daunt people and throw them away from the game, but right now, you have a $60 box you need to sell, and quite frankly, the only thing keeping me in this game right now is the fact that I do this type of stuff with you guys, and I'm going to play it just because I need to know about it. If I'm a regular consumer, am I sold on $60, let alone a subscription yet? No. And you've got 4 months to do it.
Here's a way to look at it, too. How long before Guild Wars 2 came out did you guys start doing Guildcast? I was like 8 months or something. Because at that point, you figured there was enough info out there for you to do a weekly show. And you were doing Republic probably about a year before SWTOR came out.
Yeah, but we're crazy.
You're not even close to being able to do an Elder Scrolls show, even if you wanted one.
But we're crazy though. Like we're like the 1%.
Well, no, but still,
we're like, this is the hardcore. The people watching this show, like, this is a totally different market. This isn't the real world. This is totally different.
Still,
they're gonna move the boxes. I don't think any of us has a doubt there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna move the boxes that they need, probably to recoup the initial cost of this. I can't imagine having too much problem moving the initial box.
That I think is another reason for the pushback, though. I was just sorry to. I was just gonna say, I think, it's another reason for the pushback is that we do all sort of think, hey, it's going to go free to play in 6 months or 8 months or a year, and that probably gets people less interested in buying the box and having the sub right off, because a lot of them think they're just going to wait until it becomes free.
See, I don't think free-to-play is the end game here. I think buy-to-play with a cash shop is the end game. And they've been upfront, ZeniMax has been upfront with, we're going to do shops and, all those things that you would expect in a free-to-play or a buy-to-play a la Guild Wars 2 game.
Well, also saying you'll get everything you want for your sub, but,
Right. Yeah, that was great, right?
They said both.
Same exact interview, too. You're going to get everything you want for your sub fee. these things you're going to have to buy. Wait a minute, that doesn't, no, that doesn't work. But they haven't been coy about this. They have not been coy about, we know at some point we're going to have to take the sub away. Does it happen 3 months in or 2 years in? Who knows? But we're going to put some stuff in there to get ready for that. So it's not surprising, and they've got all of these models for success financially, but it's going to come down to, is the game any damn good? And frankly, right now, nobody has a clue.
Well, people have some people have a clue up to some extent, but
clues, but not incomplete information.
Yeah,
yes,
and I mean, we don't know about Endgame, and
they have clues, but no hypotheses.
Players have been burned time and time again when it comes to Endgame and not having something later on burned. And I think that's where from the MMO community comes the most skepticism, is that they're worried about, like, hey, we haven't seen any of this stuff, what am I going to do? Okay, that's fine. I've heard about these like earlier levels and things like that, but once I get through that, what am I going to say? So what do you expect? Do you think that they're going to take the new things? Do you think we're going to see ZeniMax like jumping more on like live streams and things like that? I mean, we're seeing other companies like WildStar, Carbine jump on constantly, and they do like a weekly WildStar Saturday stream and all that kind of stuff. So do you think we're going to see ZeniMax kind of ramp that up as well?
They should, but they've been so weird with their marketing in general. I don't know. It's like I wouldn't guarantee anything.
What do you think, Brian?
I'll go out on a limb then. Yes. And they're going to start... we're going to start seeing video stuff 3 weeks. So by the end of January 31, we're going to start seeing some video stuff roll out.
Yeah, I mean, the faucet's got to be opening up.
Yeah.
Faucet's got to be opening up. I'm sure we'll see some more like closed beta testing like they're doing this weekend, and then probably like more to open beta. I'm sure hopefully at some point I would imagine they're going to do one. The other piece, this is the actual only like real piece of news that came out this week about Elder Scrolls Online. Did you guys check this out? So it's pretty controversial. People are really wondering what this is all about. So becoming an emperor through PvP, which will be
right up Ganon's alley. Ugh.
Which they're talking about it being incredibly hard to do, to actually become the emperor in PvP. But when you do, it actually unlocks an entire skill line. That even if you are dethroned from the emperor, you will still have the skill lines. It doesn't go away. You will get to keep it, but you have to unlock it. Pretty interesting. I don't know. How do you feel about that? It's quite an incentive for players to strive to become the emperor, which I like. It's a pretty big carrot. I mean, an entire skill tree line is a pretty big carrot for a lot of gamers.
I love this, and I'm kind of PvP. It's not really me anyway, but just the idea of things that are not obtainable by everybody, and maybe it gives you a little bit of an advantage in PvP. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? That's going to be up to ZeniMax and the balancing team. But I come from the Scott Hawks way of thinking, in that I like aspects of an MMO that I may never see, or I may never be able to take part in. I like when there's that little something extra for those that want to go after it and have it mean a little something. Big fan. I'm okay with this. Totally okay with this.
What do you think, Jason?
I think it depends on what the skills are. Because as you know, you've got, you can only equip 6 skills. So if they're just more active skills you put in there, you have to put those in to substitute out something else. That's not as bad a thing. It would bug me a little more if they're passives, because those are unlimited. You can have as many of those as you want. So it's going to tweak me a little bit more if you can just get 5% more hit points or something like that for having become the emperor. That's the sort of thing that I can understand people.
And we don't have any confirmation about what the skill lines are about, right? I mean, they could, in theory, from all we know, they could be purely cosmetic, right? They could be like, there could be no actual like stat bonuses to them. We hope there are, obviously.
Well, passives would have stat bonuses, whereas actives would be an active skill.
Not passives. I mean not passives. I meant more cosmetic. Sorry, cosmetic. I was saying, like, maybe they just look really freaking awesome and cool. So when you fire,
it's the same kind of fireball, but it's a green or instead of red or something.
I don't know. I mean, do you think players would be? You think they're actually going to attach stats and have these players who become emperor be more powerful than the rest of the players?
I hope so. Here's another thing, and I don't really talk about PvP all that much on this show. I leave that to the expert, Mr. Griefer Gannon there. Compared to me, expert. I'm okay, and maybe I'm crazy. I'm okay with PvP being unbalanced too. I think that's an illusion that has to be balanced. it can't be broken so that nobody has a chance, but I'm okay with things being tilted a little bit if you've worked to earn those. What I'm worried about with this, though, and I don't think we've mentioned it, is if there's going to be a way to manipulate into that chair and just game the system entirely and cycle people into it, and maybe you get a guild that's really good and they just keep cycling their players into it. If the system can be jobbed, then I'm a little skeptical of it, but all in all, I say go for it.
Join our guild, full Emperor benefits.
Exactly. That's what what I'm worried about.
Yeah, well, it's definitely interesting, so it's going to be see how it plays out. Hopefully we'll get some more information on that. I think we're going to start seeing
isn't this weird, though? The game launches in 3 months, and we're still asking questions about it. And they're not questions of, I wonder, what there's going to be at endgame. We're still asking core functionality
Maybe you don't need
questions.
to know everything, Mr. Byrne. Maybe you just get in the game and it's a whole new experience and a whole.
Then launch it tomorrow. Then launch it tomorrow, and I'll do it, and I'll find out.
You want to play some DayZ, don't you?
I do. I bought it. I haven't played it yet.
Just try to fit that in there. All right. Let's. I want to talk a little bit about some EverQuest Next Landmark, but first, I want to tell you about World of Warplanes. Yes, World of Warplanes. Thanks so much for sponsoring this episode of TWIMMO. It is completely free to play game. Absolutely not buy to win. Every single unlock and item in World of Warplanes can be achieved through just playing the game, and it's absolutely free. It's a free-to-play game. There's a cash shop, but like I said, you don't have to spend a dime to unlock everything. I was playing a ton of World of Warplanes over the holiday break. Loving it. Loving it. I love the fast action. I love jumping in. I love when you die that you can just jump back into your hangar, grab another plane, and go. So go right now. Check it out. offergb.com/warplanes is where you can go to sign up today. If you checked out World of Tanks, same company there, wargaming.net. I love their stance on pay to win. I love that they just came out a couple months ago and said, you know what? No pay to win with any of the wargaming games. So check it out today. A lot of fun dogfighting. This video actually helped me a ton. If you guys want to check these out, go to their YouTube page as well. This one's about the control settings. This is one of the first things I actually went and grabbed, was like helping me out like with all my control settings and how to set it up properly. Helped me a ton. Check it out today. Absolutely free to play. No obligation. Don't have to spend a penny. Offergb.com. Offergb.com/warplanes is the site you're going to want to hit. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. All right, let's talk a little bit about the EverQuest Next Landmark. May have an alpha, maybe not. Who knows? They're having this. They're an event in San Diego on January 31st. The event is going to feature a hands-on demo on a local server, but they were clear that Founders Pack purchases will be the first into alpha. So I'm confused. Does this mean that alpha is opening up before this event? Because then I'm wondering what the point of the event is. I'm not sure.
It's just a private server. They said it's going to be a standalone kind of thing. So it's not like full alpha. I think it's basically the same kind of like dev server they probably play on and have set up in the office. So just letting a few people in to play in that sandbox. So not really alpha, just a couple-hour fun thing.
Couple-hour fun thing. And the other thing is that there's going to be an NDA up for everyone who attends the event. So anyone who goes to the event, you can't come back and talk about it at all.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, I'm all for the event. I really want to see this. I was kind of almost like, I want to hear about it. I want people's thoughts about it. So I don't know.
Boosting costs engine overheating. Okay, now I'm okay. Boosting. I'm sorry. I'm listening to the training video you have going. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Boosting.
Got it. All right.
Damn. I'll never get good at that game.
Byrne, what are your thoughts?
Smedley.
Oh, EverQuest Next, 31st, the live event. Right. So yeah, I agree with you, Jason. I don't think this is part of Alpha. Would be a nice way to get away with it. But Smedley did talk a while ago about Alpha possibly being in late January, and this is the 31st. So I'm going to say alpha kicks off a few days before this event. I'll go with that guess.
So alpha,
like very close, maybe a day or 2 or 3 days, somewhere in that little window.
All right, so end of January is what we're looking at. That's probably pretty good. Pretty good.
Blind guess, though. If it's if it's wrong, it's a blind guess. If it's right on a future TWIMMO, I will go into some ridiculous mathematical scientific explanation on how I generated the date.
Did you guys check out the advanced tool video that was posted today? Amazing.
Yeah.
If you guys have not checked out the tool set, go to EQ Nation. We posted it there. They show off advanced building techniques with the tool set. Really unbelievable. Like the brush sizing of how you're working with the voxels and stuff. It's really like when they're showing that the mirroring and things of that nature, where you can, you know, copy huge portions and mirror it and flip it around. Like it's going to make for world building super, super easy. The more I actually see of the tool set and how like robust it is, the more excited I am to get there and kind of start messing with it. The other SOE stuff that came out this week is that they're lowering their all access pass.
This is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so they're lowering their all access pass, which gets you into all of the SEO games, to $14.99. The price of a regular subscription to like most one MMO. It makes you basically a subscriber to all of their free to play games and gets you monthly station cash. Which is it's a really awesome deal. $15.
Now here's the question though: is that they originally, instead of 500 station cash, they were going to give you an item in every game. An item they said would be up to worth about 2,000 station cash or so. But this was posted like originally on the PlanetSide 2 forums.
But they've retracted that, right?
Yeah, I know. But then then after they retracted that, a lot of people came out and said, "But I liked this idea." It was just the PlanetSide 2 only people who didn't. So I don't know.
They took it away. They were like, "Oh shit, we did something right." No, delete.
Well, yeah, I mean that was it. I mean Smedley had to come out and go on Reddit and talk about. Yeah, he asked for feedback first, and then he was like, "Okay, so we're changing it back to this."
I think the majority felt it wasn't the greatest idea because I think most people weren't interested in all those games. So I think going.
Well, but that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of having this sub thing is to get all the games. So then they took that away. So or took one aspect of it away. So I don't know. It would have been more appealing to me, I think. But
I personally like to do the new scenario much better. I
agree.
Give me the station cash. Let me do what I want to do with it. Let me spend it where I want to spend it. Because I would sign up for this for $15. I used to be a station access member actually, and pay for it when I forget what it was. It was like 30 or 40. I can't remember when it was every game, every SOE game. I didn't play them all. I play, but
and we always heard. I mean, nothing officially, obviously, but we've always heard through this channel and this channel and this channel that they didn't really sell well. That was a very small percentage of the player base for Sony Online that actually used that membership. So this is all win for them and a great idea as far as being a customer. Fantastic. If you even think you might play more than one game, it's a no-brainer.
And you get a 10% discount in the cash shop, right? Top of that. So it's free stuff or easy access. You get a 10% discount in the cash shop. It's a pretty sweet deal. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to play even maybe 2 SOE, because they're all free to play now. So if you haven't played an SOE game in a while, everything has gone free to play. So they're all free. But I think this is great. If you're going to play like 1 or 2 of these games and even spend a small amount of money per month on station cash, why would you not spend the $15 on this and get the discount and the cash and all this other good stuff? I think it's a great deal.
And who isn't going to play both Next and Landmark? Or Landmark.
There you go. Almost everybody.
It's like they had a plan.
Or Star Wars Galaxies 2. No, wait, never mind.
Somebody in our Mumble was playing SWG Emu, which is like the server that's still running the game.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I may have that installed.
Alongside, you may have Elder Scrolls Online installed.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea what you're talking about. You're not Mike Byrne.
I'm not Mike Byrne.
You're Jason Winter.
And
Jason Winter, follow us on Twitter at Winter Informal. As always, a pleasure, sir.
We're going to record a show on today now, not broadcast until 2015. Or tomorrow.
Mike Byrne.
What year is it now? I don't even know.
Follow him on Twitter, MagicMan, MIGACKMANN1. You can also catch him on a bunch of other shows right here on GameBreaker.tv. And we do This Week in MMO every Friday at 3 p. Pacific. 3 Pacific. Come on over to the live show. It's fun. And for all you new people to Game Breaker, thanks so much for watching and coming over. We truly appreciate it. And offergb.com/Warplanes.